There's definitely some timing involved with selling the book. But when it comes to creating the book, if you're going to sell a Christmas edition book, then creating it at Christmas probably doesn't make much sense. If you want to sell an Easter edition of a book, creating it during Easter probably doesn't make much sense either. So you need to put some timing into or some thinking into the timing when you're going to create these books based upon when they sell. Based on this concept of timing, the spring dates in the US run from Sunday, March 20th to Tuesday, June 21st. Of course, that's here in 2022, but these dates are always pretty much March to June in the US for the idea or the season of spring. And with these dates in mind, let's think about some spring stuff that we can create books around. Outside, birds, butterflies, Mother's Day, cleaning, plants, getting ready for summer. So back over at Google, things that sell well in the spring: travel accessories, running shoes, summer dresses, hiking, backpacks. Again, back at our spring stuff list, a lot of that stuff is on our list. For example, outside and getting ready for summer. Now let's shift gears to another concept or an idea around things that we can create, specifically when we're talking about creating books. Fun ways to celebrate spring. Plant a spring garden. See the cherry blossoms? Have a picnic. Again, go for a run, take a hike, play softball, ride a bike. All things happening during the spring, which are outside. You're going to see birds, butterflies. Mother's Day, of course, is in spring. It's always going to be popular. Cleaning or spring cleaning, plants, planting gardens, basically getting ready for summer. Over at Google Trends, we can test this theory by seeing when things happen. You can see here, spring cleaning, the topic of spring cleaning peaks around March and April. Then it drops out, obviously, and over a 5-year trend, you have March 2018, March 2019, March 2020, and the trend continues on into each year. Of course, for us, we're thinking about spring journals, spring notebooks, books that we can create. Here, the search term for spring journal, March to April. Again, in March 2018, March 2019, March 2020, and you can see the trend continues, and you can see why they call it a trend. Let's pop over into BookBolt and jump into the BookBolt cloud and look at some bestsellers under the category of notebook. Of course, inside of BookBolt, you can select different categories. We'll start with notebook. We'll type in the keyword, which is optional spring, and we'll scroll down, and you can see a book here with the criteria that we have selected, a dot grid notebook, 110 pages, and you can see the keyword here is about spring and cherry blossoms, combining some of those things inside of the research that we've done at this point, understanding the time of year, the timing of the year, and the fact that cherry blossoms are at top of mind because it's about being outside. Next, we'll hop into Amazon and continue with our research. Here you see Spring Notebook for Women. Now, the majority of these results are spiral-bound notebooks, so that's necessarily not going to work for us. We can't create spiral-bound notebooks in KDP yet, hopefully someday, but there is a book here that draws my attention inside of the results with a decent BSR right around 500,000. Women's Spring Prayer Journal and Sermon Notebook. It's simply a 6x9 gorgeous floral journal and notebook combination with the keyword spring, with the keyword being spring prayer journal or part of the spring prayer journal collection, being a notebook that is going to be targeted during the spring season. You can also see here this is part of a spring prayer journal collection, which is made up of a collection of 5 books. So you can see here, these books are in demand. These books are something you can create. You can create a series of books or a collection of books and sell these and work on creating a brand and creating a series of books that can be sold during the spring to summer season. Again, going back to thinking about spring stuff, outside, birds, butterflies, Mother's Day, cleaning, plants, getting ready for summer is the general theme here. But in this case, we're taking this idea, this concept of spring, and we're adding it with a completely different niche, and we're putting it together. And in this case, we've created a spring prayer journal, which is bringing the concept of the season of the year, plus another niche, which is going to be wrapped up in the niche of religion. So let's go back over to our spring stuff list, and let's focus in on this last idea of getting ready for summer. Pop into Google Trends, summer camp. Here you can see that this concept, these ideas start around March where people start thinking about it, but then they actually start purchasing and getting ready for summer towards the actual beginning of summer or June 4th to 10th. In this case, in 2017, 2018, 2019, There's a dip in this trend, of course, 2020 during the pandemic, but you can see in 2021 it did come back, and I expect it to come back following this 5-year trend that we see here over the past 5 years for this term of summer camp. Head over to Amazon, Summer Camp Journal. Summer Camp Journal for kids, boys, for an anxious kid. And here you can see the results and some of the types of books that are being created. Camp Journal and Sketchbook, notebook for drawing, writing, painting, sketching, or doodling at Scout Summer Camp. Again, we started our focus here, spring in the US, thinking about those dates. Those dates in 2022 being Sunday, March 20th to June 21st. Of course, March to June, always every year. Here in the US, that is going to be spring as we head into summer. So when you're thinking about the time of year and creating books that are going to sell during the time of year, think about when you can create them. Of course, if you create them during spring this year, they'll be ready to sell for spring next year. And think about this list. Outside stuff, hiking, camping, fishing, birds, butterflies, of course, always Mother's Day. Spring cleaning, plants, or gardening is always going to be big, but it's going to be bigger during the spring when these types of things are trending. As we saw in the trend reports, when we looked at Google Trends, and overall, as we spring into summer, simply getting ready for summer is going to be a great place to start looking for ideas for creating real books for real people that are going to be using them as they get ready for summer. All right, fantastic. Now we have some research done. We've thought about the books that we're going to create, but more importantly, the books that we're going to create and when they are going to sell, and making that part of our overall plan for creating these books to sell books year-round, all throughout the different seasons and or holidays. And for another great video on these types of ideas and research, check out the video you see on the screen right now, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.